Howdy, y'all. Actually, I've really never heard howdy as a real greeting, but I have to be honest, I didn't grow up in the country where people have horses and chickens and cows. I grew up in the city. I don't own boots, and city Texans are a little bit different than country Texans. I didn't ride a horse to school, but I definitely know people that rode horses all the time. So today we're talking about Texas slang, which is really fun because I'm from Texas. And there's all these different kinds of slang in the United States, and one of the different kinds is regional or by location. And Texas is a really big location, one of the biggest states. The only one that's bigger is Alaska. And Texas is a really big state with a lot of different people. So I can't teach you all the slang you're going to hear in Texas, but I can give you some of the most common slang that you will hear on TV shows or in movies. Or if you come visit Texas, you can actually hear real people say this, like for real. So this is part of the 31 Days series to Better Spoken English, where we're looking at all kinds of spoken English, idioms, phrasal verbs, slang, so that you can improve your conversation skills and your understanding of movies and TVs, because this kind of language is everywhere, but it's not always in textbooks. And believe me, I know what's in ESL textbooks. I've been a teacher for 7 years, and I've used hundreds of ESL textbooks. Like, for real, I promise. So I'm gonna put the playlist here if you wanna check out some other videos after we learn about Texas slang. Okay, y'all, here we go. Giddy up. We're fixing to learn the Texas way. Now, first things first. In Texas, all of this, Coke. Now, I know this is Coca-Cola, which is like the actual name. We call it Coke in the States. But in Texas, this is a Coke and this is also a Coke. All of the drinks in this category are Coke. I know. This is only in Texas. People will say, hey, do you want a Coke? Yeah, what kind? And then you'll say, oh, I want an orange soda, or I want a Dr. Pepper, or I want a Sprite. And we don't call it soda, really. We don't call it soda pop. We just call it Coke. Let's talk about y'all. Y'all is everywhere now. Y'all means you all. And sometimes I've even heard all y'all, which means all you all, which makes no sense at all. It's confusing, but remember, it's slang, and slang doesn't always make sense. So interesting, some people in the United States now like to use y'all because there's no gender involved. It's also common in the United States to call a group of people guys, to say, hey guys. But guys are usually male, either a single male or like a group of people. And so some people don't like to use guys because it has a gender norm to it. So they like to use y'all instead. You can also say folks, and folks is just a word for people. But I think that we are going to hear the word y'all all across the United States. It's going to become more popular. But for right now, it's super common in Texas and all of the states all the way over to Florida. So that is the part of the United States we call the South. Okay, so we're fixing to get some slang here right quick. Can you hear my accent? It might come out in this video. I kind of have a teacher voice, and because I want my students to really understand me, but this video might get me into Texas, Ryan. Okay, so folks, we're fixing to learn about fixin' to. Now, fixin' to has nothing to do with repairing things. It really is just replacing the future tense going to. So fixin' to, and we don't say the G, it's fixin'. I'm fixin' to go to the store. Do you want anything? Okay, so this is not appropriate for an email or a essay for your teacher. No, no, no. It's only spoken English, and you're gonna hear it all in the South. Okay, so let's say you're fixing to get a Coke, and you're going in, you're trying to like reach for this Coke, and there's somebody in your way. Now, if that person does not see you, you might say, excuse me, okay? But if the person sees you, you're just gonna say sorry, especially if you're kind of in their space. Texas is a really big state and there's lots of space. So we don't really get very close to each other. Honestly, if you can put out your arm, this is how far away you need to stand from me if you're standing in line or if you don't know me, okay? Now, if we're talking, we can stand much closer. But if you don't know me, you shouldn't get much closer than my arm to me, okay? That's just normal in the United States, not normal in many other countries. But in Texas, if you get in somebody's space, in that kind of area around them, you're going to say sorry all the time. Sorry. Oh, here. Oh, sorry. Okay? Now, did you do anything wrong? No. Are you apologizing? No, not really. You're just kind of communicating that you're in their space and you see them. So some teacher, when I was a kid, taught me this phrase, ain't a word, so I ain't gonna say it. And all my grammar teachers in my whole life are like cringing right now, listening to me say that. And if you don't understand cringing, click here on this video. I'll explain it to you. But ain't is a word that people use in the South, and it's negative. So it kind of means no, but it's more like don't or doesn't. However, we don't use very good grammar when we use the word ain't, because ain't really isn't a proper word, but it's slang. People use it all the time. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. So I can say things like, he ain't got no money. He ain't got no money. And ain't and no is what we call a double negative, which is a big no in English, but we're using ain't. And ain't uses double negatives all the time. You don't need this grammar explanation. What you need to know is that he ain't got no money means he doesn't have any money. There's no money. That's what it means. But y'all, bless your heart, don't become the grammar police. There's accepted ways of speaking in all kinds of communities. The grammar book is gonna tell you that it's wrong, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Bless your heart, you can't understand me in this accent. We use bless your heart when we feel sorry for somebody, or when we think somebody's being a little bit stupid. Okay, so we could say, bless his heart, he was never good at driving. Probably he got in a big wreck, right? So it's kind of in between feeling sorry for somebody and thinking that somebody's like a little bit dumb. Bless your heart. So right quick, which just means quickly, if you want to keep learning, I'm talking about adulting in our next video. All that slang about money and jobs and paying your bills are in the next video. We're talking about moolah, paper, cheddar, bones, bucks, and Benjamins, y'all.